You can start now.
Yes, thank you for joining me. My name is Moyrali Roig, and I'm the account manager for Becker Professional Education. And I'm going to be talking today about the pathway to CMA. But this is an interactive presentation. Therefore, go ahead and take your phones out of your hands. I know you have them, glue them in your hands. Take a screenshot to this QRC code and join me on the presentation. It's very interactive. There's going to be a few questions along the way. And with that, like I said, I'm going to be talking today about the pathway to the CMA application session, okay? And feel free to ask any questions along the way or put them in the chat. I'm sure Vanessa will be very helpful in providing me with those questions along the presentation. And the first question on your phones is your first and last name. It's very easy. See, it's not hard. Now, let's talk a little bit then about the steps to becoming a CMA, which is what I'm going to be actually presenting today. Okay, I'm going to be covering every single step. For those of you that are not aware, okay, CMA is a Certificate of Management Accounting, okay, or Managerial Accounting. And you don't have to be an accounting major. And this is for students that perhaps don't want to follow the CPA track. So there is an options, okay? So I'm going to be talking today about the application to take the CMA, where to study, how to schedule it, and how I am here to help you succeed in this path, or as I like to call it, a journey. Let's talk a little bit about the eligibility requirements to sit for the exam, okay? You have to have, first of all, you have to be a member of the IMA. And there's three types of membership. There is the professional one, the student one, and the academic one, okay? Now, the student one, you guys are all students, so you should take advantage of being an IMA member. It's only $39 because once you become a professional or you know, then it's way more expensive. So take advantage of that membership. Okay, there's the CMA entrance fee, and that's $250. But I always take my students, careful when you put that money down, because once you put that money down, you have 3 years to actually take the 2 parts of the exam. Okay, so that's why I always tell my students, you know, if you think you're not ready yet to take the examinations, don't pay the CMA entrance fee yet, because that's when your clock starts, you know, ticking, that you have 3 years to pass those 2 parts of the test. And of course, the exam fee, you know, once you start study, you become, of course, a member of the CMA program, then you register for the exam and pay, you know, for those parts separately, because there's 2 parts, all right? And the cost for each part is $415. But then again, let's not move forward. I'm here to talk really about how it can be done. And very different from the CPA component, it's so open for pretty much any major, you know, every business major, every student out there. Of course, the last requirement is comply with the IMA Statement of Ethical Professional Practice, which is an agreement that you sign. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about, you know, those eligibility requirements. You have to have, of course, satisfied the education qualification. Okay, and let's talk about, do you have to have completion of a bachelor's degree pretty much in anything by the time you sit for any parts of the test? Well, really, you don't, okay? You can actually sit for any of the 2 parts of the CMA examination without being graduated yet. Now, from the time that you pass both parts, you have 7 years, and that's a pretty long time, guys. You have 7 years to come up with a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university, and 2 continuous years of professional experience in either management accounting or financial management. 2 continuous years, okay? Like I said, both the education and experience qualification must be met within 7 years of completing the CMA exam that is composed of 2 parts, okay? Now, once you apply to sit, okay, and the beauty of this test is that you can sit for any parts. There's no specific order, okay? But what is different from the CPA exam is that there are testing windows. There's only 3 testing windows in the year. You can sit for any of these parts either in January or February, May through June, or September and October. There's only 3 windows. That's why I always tell my students is we have to be really careful on how you actually, study, how do you make your study plan. We at Becker have a study plan that helps you through not only keep you on track on your studies, but it also plots when you should be sitting for the specific part that you are studying for. So I always tell my students, always keep attention to your study plan, because there's only 3 sitting windows, and you want to make sure that you apply beforehand for any of those 3 windows, okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about the study plan, okay? Like I say, you can take parts 1 and 2 of the CMA exam in any order. Actually, part 1, it covers financial planning, performance, and analytics. It's much more of a management focus. Part 2 covers strategic financial management, and is more of a financial focus. Okay, so we actually help you determine which order to take. There's a video tutorial in our Becker software that helps you with that too. And I always tell my students, build a realistic study plan, okay? You have to set realistic study goals each week. And for that, we also have a study plan that adapts to your needs, adapts to, if you have any part-time job or any other, things that are coming your way, family responsibilities, okay? So we can help you with that. If we have time, I can definitely show you not only our CMA study platform, but how it works, okay? We actually recommend allocating 120 hours for part 1 of the exam and about 100 for part 2. This is the exam overview. It's 4 hours total, okay? You dedicate 3 hours to 100 multiple choice questions, okay? That's pretty much how long it takes, about 3 hours. Moyrali, can I start my essay component if I am done before the 3 hours? And the answer is yes. However, you must answer 50% of those multiple choice questions correctly in order to continue. So pretty much the exam self-grades itself, okay, until you hit that 50% mark. Once you hit that 50% mark, the test will allow you to go to the 30-minute essay questions that are typically 5 to 6 parts per essay questions, and there are 2 essays, okay? So it's 3 hours for the multiple choices and an hour for the essays, and there's 2 essays, okay? Now, the multiple choice questions, it's about 75% of your score, and the essays are 25% of your score. Moyrali, will I get my score at the end of my exam? And the answer is no, because even though 50% of questions correctly will open the window to open your essays, you will not have your total score, because those essays are actually manually graded. So these are actually a committee, people grading those essays. So the answer is no, you will not have the passing score at the end of the exam. The passing score is a 360 out of 500. Okay, for each part. Like I mentioned, multiple choice represents 75% of your score. The questions, the essay questions, 25% of your score. And like I mentioned, the reason why you're not going to receive your score that day is because of the essay questions are hand graded. Okay, the exam scores are usually released about 6 weeks after the end of the month in which the exam was taken. Okay, so you have to be a little bit of patient there. Now let's talk about a little bit of the exams structure. Part one, like I mentioned, covers financial planning, performance, and analytics, and is much more of an accounting management focus. And it's usually with Becker, it takes you about 120 hours to study for this part alone. Okay, and this includes the lectures, the questions, the essay component, okay, and it covers their outcomes statements of the CMA that includes the external financial reporting, planning and budgeting, forecasting, performance management, cost management, internal controls, technology and analytics. Like I mentioned in the beginning, you do not have to be an accounting major in order to be CMA certified. It can be really any bachelor's degree in order to take this route. Now, part two is much more a financial focus, and it covers strategic financial management. It's going to take you about 100 hours to study for this part alone, and this includes the financial statement analysis, corporate finance, decision analysis, risk management, investment decisions, professional ethics, okay? And don't worry, I know that sounds like a lot, but that's why Becker is here for you, to help you navigate through the journey of studying for the CMA certification. Now go back to your phones. For those of you that join me, you can join the conversation at glsr.live/Valencia2. It's right there up in your screen. And like I said, this is an engagement presentation. So there's a few questions along the way for you to interact with me and to make sure that you're alive and well in the other side of the screen. So the first question for those of you that joined me before, what's your first and last name? The second question in your screen is, what's your graduation year? All right. Now, once you're ready to take one part, where do you go to schedule your exam? So you go to prometric.com. This is where you go to actually schedule your test after paying, of course, for the part. And you do this through the IMA, and you pay that. It's like I mentioned, it's $415 per part. So you pay first for the part, you get a code from the IMA, and that's the code that you're going to use at the prometric.com in order to schedule your test in one of those 3 windows that I mentioned before. As a trick, don't forget, okay, you have to be a member of the IMA. You have to pay the CMA entrance fee, which is $250. But like I mentioned, okay, don't pay that yet until you're sure that you're going to be sitting for those 2 parts within 3 years. Because once you pay for the CMA entrance fee, it's non-refundable, and you have 3 years to sit for those 2 parts. So again, you pay for 1 part, you pay the $415. You go to prometric.com, you look for a location close to you, close to your home, close to your job. Okay, you can really take this test anywhere that is the Prometric Center. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is a CMA, is a certification that is internationally accepted. So once you become a CMA certified, you're a CMA certified anywhere in the world. Very different from the CPA, in which just for specific states or nationally here in the USA. So you schedule your test, okay, close to whenever it's closed. Okay, I always recommend my students, prometric.com centers are under the pandemic guidelines, meaning they are at 50 to 75% capacity in some cases. So as soon as your study plan tells you which day you should be seating, go ahead and schedule it right away. Please make sure you wear a mask when you're taking our CMA exam, simulated exams with Becker. Make sure that you wear a mask that is not pulling at your ears or pulling at your face as if you're in a 4G airplane or something. And so try to find a mask that is comfortable, because, and bring it with you, because the mask should not be a distraction on your exam day. So again, while you're doing your simulated exam practices at home with Becker, those 4 full hours, wear your mask, because that's going to be the exact same environment that you're going to be at. If you want to know, do I have the time to start a CMA journey? Do I know if I should start now? Will I have the time? Will I have the commitment to start? Okay, we have free access. So there's complimentary 14-day access at this site here, at this website. Okay, and that it's gonna show you it's gonna have the full experience of looking at the annotated book, look at multiple choice questions, look at lectures, look at the essays. You know, you can actually start even studying, and when you're ready to start your journey and continue your journey, you just simply provide the same email address that you used to do your free access, and you can just continue studying where you were left off. So I always tell my students, do not, compromise yourself into this CMA journey until you're ready to commit to it. And the best way for you to commit to it is by exactly taking the free access. Why not? We all love free. This is my personal contact information. Okay, if you have any questions about CMA, about CPA, if you want to do a study plan together, if you want me just to have a one-on-one session with you, please go ahead and bother me, email me. I'm here to support you. Now, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to ask Vanessa, is there anything in the chat for me? Or if you want me to, or Destiny, or if you want me to actually open the CMA software to show you how it looks and show you a study plan to see how you do a study plan, it's up to you. It's almost 1:30. I'm not sure if you have any other topics with your club meeting today, or if you want me to check the CMA software as well. It's up to you.
I think it would be a great opportunity for us to get a small little look at what that software is like, and try to see a comparison to what it is the software for the CPA exam would be.
Okay, so you want to take a look at the CMA and CPA, that's what you said?
Yeah, just to see the differences, because I know that that was something that a lot of the students were asking about as well. What's the difference? I mean, we already seen the CPA one, okay. So what's the big wow factor? No, be a CMA versus a CPA.
Well, there is, I'm going to show my screen here again. Okay, in terms of the software, it looks exactly the same. I'm not sure if you remember last time. The CPA and the CMA software, the reason why they look the same is because we have students that are doing both certifications. And once you get used to study one way, students are like, okay, don't change anything on me, because then I'll be lost. So the platform itself, it looks exactly the same as if you are in CPA mode. Okay, the only reason is, instead of seeing the 4 parts, FAR, BEC, audit, and FAR, BEC, audit, I'm missing one, regulation, you're seeing just part 1 and part 2 in CMA. Okay, so that's one difference there. All right, but you're gonna see your proficiency badges here on the top, same as if you're seeing the CPA software. Your contact support is right there. Okay, their units, there's 6 units in part 1 with 2 simulated exams. As you can see, 2 simulated exams for part 1. And this is where I said, when you use the simulated exams, use your mask and all that. It actually has, if I open a unit, every unit has different modules. as you are progressing in your studies. Okay, it's going to tell you how far you are in your studies. Let's say, for instance, and this is very interesting because, as you can see here, this is optional background accounting cycle, and this is for students that don't have an accounting background, because as I mentioned before, you can be a CMA certified without being an accounting major, which is very different from CPA. For you to be a CPA is very accounting focused. You have to have a certain number of credits in just accounting in order to even be considered to be certified in CPA, not in CMA. But if you don't have an accounting background and you want to have a much more understanding, because let's be honest, this is a certification of management accounting and it has accounting in it. So if you want to do that, we have actually added a background in it in which you can take a lecture, do some simulations, and it will take you straight then into the topics that will be covered in the CMA exam. And as you open them, you're going to see, like I mentioned, your lectures, which is bites. It's 18 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 7 minutes here, because we've noticed that same as the CPA platform, students today, you cannot put them to death in a 2-hour, 3-hour lecture. It's just to give them, tiny bits of lectures, and then you go straight into your questions. Okay, and every module that we have, same as the CPA, you have your lectures, you have your questions, but instead of simulations, which that's what we have in CPA, we have here multiple choice questions and essays. Okay, so essay questions. See, in this particular one, you have essay questions. So that's the difference. We have the proficiency dashboard, which adapts to you. This is what I mentioned the last time, that we have partnered with Sana Labs, and Sana Labs is the artificial intelligence company that runs Spotify. But what they do for us is that it provides students with questions and essay topics that they have not yet mastered. So every single one of our students have different proficiency levels, so it adapts to your knowledge. Okay, so it's very similar. Same with the flashcards. This we also have in the CPA studies. We also have, of course, when you go to my account, this is what I tell my students, that you can delay shipment on your books. We have the electronic book, but for some of you that like to have physical books, I always tell my students, don't order both at the same time, because you always want to have the most updated edition with you. So if you're only studying for part 1, only redeem part 1. And then 3 to 4 weeks before you start studying part 2, then redeem part 2. But then again, we have the annotated book, okay? Like for instance, let's see, unit 2. Every time you open a unit, see, you open your resources, there's your digital textbook that you can follow along, or you have the actual slides. And the slides is what I always tell my students, that this is what you can see, you can download them and then you can print them and write on it. So I always tell my students, go ahead. If teaching slides are much more powerful because it follows along. Okay, so that's that. And of course, we have practice tests that you have unlimited practice tests, same as CPA. You can actually personalize them. You can put how many do you want. If you only want to do like 50 or 25, which part you want to do your practice exam, which unit. I don't know. I don't want to do all. I'm doing today only unit 1. And you go straight into doing that, either random or personalized. And this is your option. This is up to you. We have the flashcards, we have the performance there. Okay, you have the performance that tells you, how many have you done. You can always print it. What's a Becker promise? Becker promise is for students that don't have unlimited access, because we have different packages. as long as you complete 90% of all multiple choice questions and one of the two simulated exams with a score at least of 50% for that section, if you're running out of time, let's say your 24 months are running out of time, you can get the whole Becker CMA exam review at no cost because you have done your due diligence in studying, but for some reason you have not yet passed or you're running out of time, etc. And these are again for students that don't have unlimited access. Like I said, let me go back to my home. We are in the process of adding, there's a getting started video for those of you that, well, I don't know which part should I start. So we have videos along. We have the getting started, we have introductions, and we are about now in April is when we're actually going to launch the study plan that I was telling you about. It's going to be located here in this is the spot for the study plan, and here as well, right underneath home. So we're still doing the platform. But the study plan is exactly as the one that it is for the CPA exam. And I know you wanted for me to show you the CPA one. So let me go ahead. So it's going to be exactly, it's going to look exactly like this one. Let me show you right here. See, like I told you with the CPA, it's exactly the same platform, but this one has 4 parts. This is the batches. It has the topics. Once you go to a topic, it goes to a module, exact same feeling. Because our students, that's what they want. They want to have the same experience because they know Becker will show them everything will look exactly the same as in test day. So your CMA platform, which is this one, is gonna have soon the study plan exactly like this one, okay? And this is exactly what you're gonna do, which I think we did it last time. You create a plan, you pick the parts that you wanna take, in which order, okay? And then this is where you have to be, well, I don't know when I'm gonna be testing, that's why I need help. And you click, I don't know when I'm gonna be testing, I need you to tell me, Moyrali. So this is the plan that you have to be really honest with yourself. This is gonna be the exact same thing in CMA, okay? I plan to study. This is the part that you really have to say, okay, how much time am I gonna dedicate to this, okay? And for a full-time, I wanna say for a student that is only studying all the time, no part-time job, no full-time job, their job is to go to school. If you don't have a heavy load of credit, you can start with 50 to 60 hours. But if you have like a 15 to 18 credit load, go to 38 to 45 per week. If you have a part-time job, do 25 to 30 hours per week. If you have a full-time job with home responsibilities and all of that, then do the 13 to 15 hours. That's just an example. Okay, we always have, the recommended time. And let's say I want to start right after spring break on the 29th. Okay, once I do that, I confirm that's the order, and it's gonna plot it. And this is exactly how it's going to look like in your CMA. As you can see, it tells me which units and topics I should be taking, including when I should be taking my simulated exams and when I should be actually sitting for the real deal, which week. That's the week that you want in order to pay for the part and go to the prometric.com and schedule it. This is the plot that you want, okay? You're going to have the same option to either print it, to either print it and put it everywhere, but you're gonna see it now when you go to study plan, you're gonna see it plotted, and see, you're gonna see it there. And if you have to adjust it because, well, now it's tax season, I'm gonna be very busy until April 15, you can always adjust it, okay, because it adapts to you. Now, if you fall behind, you're gonna start getting notifications like you're falling behind, those kind of things. Any questions about the platforms, about the CMA examination requirements, anything?
I know I have a question, and you may have already answered this, but for the essay practice questions that you have, how would you go about finding out if it's graded properly, or if you got the question right, that type of thing?
You're brilliant. Essay questions. Essay questions, what we provide you is, we give you the essay, okay, and you will have the same experience. You will have the 30 minutes for each question. Now, what we're going to provide you is with let me see if I can find one here. What we're going to provide you is with like a rationale on which things you should have covered in that answer. Again, it's not in your words, it's in our interpretation and our rationale, but we provide you with the things of you must cover these topics in order to get full grading. One, I know that in our next question will be, will I get partially graded? Yes. If you hit some of the spots, you will get partial graded, because this is a people, this is people that are actually grading. I'm going to look for an exam here. This is exactly how it's going to look like, by the way, in your Prometric. It's exactly as clunky, I call it clunky, as it is. Okay, so you see your clock and all that. Okay, using the mouse. It's exactly the same thing as the Prometric Center. That's why we have great relationships with the IMA. Okay, they provided us with everything. Okay, so this is again all the questions. Okay, answer multiple choices and all that. Let me see. Next. There's a calculator. Again, this is just explanation. Maybe this is the one that's taking too long. But like I said, it's showing you, it's going to show you like a paragraph of the things that you should cover, all right, and the things that how you could address those, but your words are your words, and how you write is how you write. We're just giving you a guidance of how which things you should have for that specific question. I hope that answers your question.
It does a little bit. I mean, so I'm kind of putting it into perspective of us having to do the written portions of an AP exam or the FCAT, way back when, of yes, you have to make sure you hit these small little points, but it can get blurred because, like you said, it is based off of interpretation.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to put here an example here. So I'm just blubbling there. It will always provide you your calculator, timetables, and all that. I'm just putting something there, and it's. Let me go here. The explanation. See, it's going to tell you, this is how it should have. Production was less than budget, and fixed overhead costs were on. This is what it should have in your essay. As long as you hit these 2 or 3 things, you should be fine. Okay, so it's going to be exactly like that. Okay, again, it's a question, preparing blah blah blah, prepare an income statement. Okay, here I am doing my income statement, and then show the solution, and this is how it should be. Okay, and like I said, as long as it has the wording or some of the wording, of course, the numbers, they need to hit good, but you can get partial grading. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I know that's something that even with our regular class essays that we have to do, we're always like, well, how do we know we're gonna get good credit? We hit some of these points, but maybe we didn't hit all of them, so
yes,
it's something us college students always worry about when is essays.
Yes, and like I said, we give you the tools, and we give you the rationale to help you pass in full grading that particular essay question. So as long as you put all of that we are there, you get full grading. If you're missing here and something, you'll get partial partial grade. So you don't have to worry that, okay, I blew it completely. No such thing, okay?
Yeah, that works. I'll say
All
thank you
right.
for explaining that down.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I know, like I said, it's very different from CPA. CMA, it opens windows at an international level. So once you become a CMA, I know England, Spain, the Arabs, you know, they have very much openings for CMAs at an international level. You can represent clients really anywhere in the world because, you know, CPA constrains you just at a national level. CMA is much, much more broader. And like I said in the beginning, you know, you really have, once you pass these two parts, you have 7 years to come up with your bachelor's degree with the 2 years of continuous work experience. It's much more flexible, really.
I have a question. Do you have to, after a certain amount of time, do you have to get like recertified for CMA?
Thank you for the question. It's no such thing as recertify. It's called a renewal, okay? And like in the CPA, in order for, once you become a CPA, you have to renew it. Same thing for CMA. I want to give you the correct information. For CMA, you have to renew it annually. You have to renew it by completing 30 hours of continuing education. 2 of those hours must be in ethics. And like I said, those 30 hours is each year, but you don't have to worry about that because usually the firm or the company that you land, they provide you with opportunities to take courses and conferences and, you know, workshops. If not, hey, Becker is here. We have, you know, subscriptions for continuous professional education courses if you want a subscription. So you're always, you know, studying, pretty like studying, you know, you take these on-demand courses or seminars or workshops, but you just have to continue renewing it. But you don't have to go through this gruesome experience of testing ever again in your life.
Okay. Yeah, that was my kind of worried, like how often would I have to like retake the test if that was necessary?
Oh no, once you're a CMA, you're a CMA, okay? All you have to do is just renew it every year with courses. And they're so open, you know, pretty much anything. Even, you know, my CPA and CMA you know, professionals, those courses lapse, so they don't have to retake different courses for neither of the certifications. They actually overlap. So, and that is helpful for them. So because in the CPA, they have to come up with 80 hours every 2 years. CMA is 30 every year. So if they would not lapse, they will be like studying forever. So they do lapse.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions from the rest of my attendees? I don't see anything in the chat. I stopped sharing.
Yeah, there's nothing in the chat either.
All righty. Well, Vanessa, Destiny, thank you for having me. I'm here for you. Let's do it again next year. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it again next year by bringing pizza or anything that you want. And I'll get to hug you and meet you and be with you guys there because I hate this. So I really hope to be at Valencia next year doing this all over again with you face to face.
Yes, we look forward to it. Thank you.
I'll give my best to Professor Casablanca. I truly miss her. And good luck in your studies, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.